All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to today's live stream. Today, we're going to do something different. I'm going to do more of an educational webinar. Instead of recording a video, I want to do this live, give you the opportunity to ask me questions live. All right, let's do this. So today I am going to show you how we can find the high time frame bottom for Bitcoin by using on-chain analysis and technical analysis. If you're a long-term follower, you have probably seen me talk about this and show you some stuff about this in the past. I've done a couple of Twitter threads on this, right? And if you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and like the live stream if you like what I'm doing here. And yeah, so let's start this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open up a new tab here, and we're going to go to a site called Look Into Bitcoin. So everything is free, right? Everything here is free. All the tools I'm going to show you is free. All you need is a browser and a trading view, not even a subscription, just a you just need to be logged into TradingView, and you go to look into bitcoin.com, right? This is a great site. Lots of interesting free on-chain stuff on here. There's a subscription to it. I'm not affiliated with them, right? You know what? I don't even know how to find all of this. So let's see. Let's just Google look into Bitcoin and MVRV. Right here, we have it right here. So it's MVRV Z-Score. So you're going to look into Bitcoin /charts/MVRV Z-Score, and that brings up this one right here. And the next one we're going to look at is the NUPL, and that is the net unrealized profit and loss for Bitcoin, which is this chart right here, right? So all of this is based on it's based on 4 different things, right? So you have 2 on-chain metrics, on-chain charts. These ones right here, the NUPL and the MVRV Z-Score, and we're going to combine that with the stochastics RSI on the, I believe it was a 2-week I looked at. Yeah, the stochastics RSI on the 2-week, and we're going to look at the 1 week as well. And then the last final confirmation would be the daily 50 EMA. So I'm thinking this might take about 20 to 30 minutes to go through this technique or method here to find the Bitcoin bottom. And then after, we're going to do some live trading and live market scanning and live market analysis to see if we can find any interesting setups. Don't forget to like the video if you like what we're doing right here. I'm going to try not to repeat that too often, but it's really crucial for the growth of the channel to like the live stream so we can kind of activate that YouTube algo. So we have Bitcoin right here. Let's go to the clean chart. So we open a new tab right here, and I have one called clean. And this is my clean template here on TradingView that I use just to have completely clean charts. But we're seeing some rather bearish price action going on for Bitcoin right here. We are testing the breakout area here at 20.5. It's a nice rounded retest. It's even a nice rounded retest on the daily. The fact that we are in the bear market in a major downtrend and we got rejected by the daily 20 EMA. Well, not rejected, but we lost it basically. It's not looking good. I mean, I don't really think there's a lot of bullishness going on here unless we see a nice bounce here. Anyway, that's not what we're going to talk about right now. Right now, we're going to talk about the on-chain metrics and the TA we're going to be using to try to time the bottom. So I'm going to remove everything except the daily 50, right? And we're going to remove the reload zone fib here as well. So first, we're going to take a look at the MVRV Z-Score. What is the MVRV Z-Score? Personally, I have no idea. I don't know what this is. And let me tell you something about me as a trader, right? You might think that I'm this big shot professional trader that has like an enormous wealth of knowledge. You probably don't know that, but or think that. But like the reality is, right? I started trading in 17, right? In 2017 with, well, I didn't really start trading. I started gambling in 2017 and just buying a bunch of shit coins on Bittrex. I basically just looked at Bittrex and I looked at whatever coin was in the green. I went all in on that one, and it's continued up obviously because we were in that 17 bull market. It's just, and I thought it was great trader. Obviously we topped out, lost everything, you know. You guys know what I'm saying. So when I started trading, like I have a system, right? Let me just quickly go through this. It's important that you guys understand this, right? I have a system based on certain indicators, especially like, for example, here the stochastics RSI, right? Do I know exactly what the stochastics RSI is? No, I really don't, right? But do I need to know exactly what the K line and the D line and what the calculations are for those to move in the way they are doing? Do I need to know that? I absolutely do not need to know that. All I need to know, really, of course, it might help me in the future if I learn those things, but all I really need to know is I've back tested an idea, right? And that idea is based on the fact that I want to be buying whatever asset I'm looking at or whatever asset I'm shorting. I want to be buying that one when the stochastics is below 30. I want to sell the same asset when stochastics is above 70. That's all I need to know. Going through back testing, I've seen that's there's an edge in that, right? And I don't need to know why it's happening. I only need to know that it's actually happening. Now, the same thing goes with the simple moving averages and the exponential moving averages. Do I need to know the exact calculations of a simple moving average? Well, it's quite simple. The simple moving average calculation is quite simple. Now, the exponential moving average is a bit simple. They take the previous price and take that into consideration. So I don't know the exact combinations or the calculations for the EMA. Now, I don't need to know that either. All I need to know is that they are used in my system as dynamic horizontal support and resistances, right? So there's no need for me to know all the exact details of the indicators that I'm using in trading, and you don't need to know that either, right? So looking at the MVRV Z-Score, there is, of course, the calculation here. I don't really care about that one. I don't really understand it either, honestly. But there is a description here of how it's used and how you can use it and what it's based on. So definitely check that out. You can also go into the Medium article here to check out more about the indicator. And have I read it? No. Do I care? Not really. All I care about is the fact that when the MVRV Z-Score is in the green area right here, that has been where the point of maximum opportunity is for Bitcoin. You can clearly look at the price of Bitcoin right here and the MVRV Z-Score being in the green area. That is, it's not like, it's the hit rate is 100% basically. The major bottoms of all the high time frame bottoms and the bottoms of all the long-term bear markets have happened in the MVRV Z-Score, not below, not above, right? Well, of course below here, but not above, right? That's what I'm saying. So when price starts to trade into the green zone of the MVRV Z-Score, we know that we are now in the area of interest for a potential bottom to be formed on Bitcoin. But we can't use this in isolation because obviously you see the MVRV Z-Score entering the area right here when Bitcoin is at around I can't remember the price here, but that was like the last flush to the downside in 2000 end of 2018, beginning of 2019, and that was like I think that was like a 60 or 70% move to the downside, and that all happened inside the MVRV Z-Score. So it's not about using this one in isolation. What you're going to use as well as different indicators, and we have one right here called the net unrealized profit and loss, the NUPL. You might have seen a lot of charts on using Glassnode for this one right here on Bitcoin, probably because it looks a bit better. And what you have here basically is, but this one is free, so just go to look into bitcoin.com and it's free. You have right here in the red area, you have euphoria and greed, and then you have denial, belief or denial. So it should be disbelief, right? No belief. And optimism, hope, fear, capitulation. And the usually capitulation is red and greed is green, but here's the thing: here is when the NUPL enters the red area, you have euphoria, and that's when you want to be selling. So red sell, green buy. And we have now entered the capitulation phase of the NUPL chart right here, which tells us that the point of maximum opportunity is very close according to the chart right here. And also something that you need to take into consideration is the diagonal support of this. This is not a horizontal support area, right? You don't look at this. A lot of people look at this 0% line like a horizontal support and resistance area right here, and then the minus 50 like one right here. But you will clearly see that there's some alpha decay here, right? You see that the bottom here is very low, higher, and then higher. But that was, I believe that was very high or very shallow, because that was the COVID dump right here. And you had a V reversal, which happened very quickly. But I do not expect this one to go lower than this one right here, not much lower than that one, because you have some sort of diagonal level going like this, right? So that's something to keep in mind. The same thing, I believe, goes for the MVRV Z-Score as well. You can see that the bottoms is getting higher and higher, right? So it's important to understand the idea of these indicators have been used a lot in the markets by many different types of traders, and there is, of course, the fact that there is some alpha decay here, and in the future the MVRV Z-Score might not even hit the green zone when you have a high time frame bottom for Bitcoin, because the nature of Bitcoin will change over time, obviously. But right now I do feel like this is a great way of trying to time the bottoms, and of course also time the tops, and that's something I'm going to be talking about shortly when showing you the principles here to find the bottom. So the MVRV Z-Score and the NUPL is now telling us that we are in the area of interest. So what do we do now with Bitcoin, right? You look at Bitcoin and you're like, well, this looks horrible. This looks horrible, right? Now we've looked at the on-chain metrics, right? So we're done with on-chain. Now we're going to move into the technical aspects of this. So what I do is I add the reload zone, the RLC or the RLZ, however you want to pronounce that. I'm going to add this fib from 0 to 69, which is the absolute bottom and the absolute top, obviously, of Bitcoin. You'll see right here, I've changed it to the RLC template right here. So we're going to see the 0.618, the 0.702, the 0.786. That's the reload zone, right? And it comes in right here. So where are we trading right now? Where we are trading right in the middle of the reload zone, the midpoint of the reload zone, which is a very interesting area. It's interesting for several reasons. It's interesting because it's now inside the midpoint of the reload zone, while the on-chain metrics that I've showed you is telling us that we are in an area of interest for buying. Now, let me just take a moment to clarify something. I'm not giving you a magic tool to try to catch the bottom for Bitcoin. Actually, I'm giving you some knowledge and some tools here that you can use in your own trading to try to find a time and place for Bitcoin where it's highly probable that the bottom has been printed. I'm not trying to catch the absolute bottom. I'm not trying to catch the absolute top. I am trying to find good confirmation, high probability confirmation that the high time frame bottom has already been printed for Bitcoin, right? And I'm going to show you exactly how that's done. So we're now inside the midpoint of the reload zone right here with the on-chain metrics telling us that we have an area of interest, right? So TA tells us that this is probably right now the most interesting spot for Bitcoin. the area between the 0.618 and the 0.786, the area called the reload zone right here. Somewhere in here, I believe that the bottom of the bear market will be put in, and we will have that obvious bottom somewhere in this area. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen today, next week, or next year. I do, however, suspect that it's going to start forming sometime by the end of this year. So what we do is we want to see some sign of a break in market structure, and that would be a bullish break in market structure, because we currently right now have a downtrend. We have a bearish market. So a bullish break in market structure would mean that the bearish trend breaks to the upside. You have a bullish break in market structure. The bearish trend breaks into bullish market structure. No, I know I'm repeating myself, but it's very important that you understand these basic concepts of trading. Why do I have the daily 50 EMA on the chart? Well, it's because the daily 50 EMA has been such a good indicator of trying to catch the big moves on Bitcoin. So my whole trading idea for Bitcoin in the last bull run was using the daily 50 EMA as an indicator of being long or short. Whenever Bitcoin is above the daily 50 EMA, when it started to break out right here, we want to be long altcoins. I mean, we want to be long Bitcoin, but not only Bitcoin. We want to look at long opportunities on altcoins as well. And if you buy Bitcoin when you have a daily open and close above the daily 50 EMA right here, and you sell when you have a daily open and close below the 50 EMA, you would basically have been able to catch the whole major bull run of this bull market, right? So imagine you buy with a daily open and close above, you sell with a daily open and close below. Now, of course, here you would buy and then sell. That would be a loss on this buy, but a very nice profit on this run right here. So let's say you again you buy somewhere here, and you would then sell here. That would be a pretty decent trade. You would then buy here, and you would sell in this area right here. Okay, so that would be one massive trade, a failure, small loss, one very good trade here, and a small loss here, and then a good winner here with another short here that you close here for a pretty decent winner. And then there would be lots of shopping around in this area right here. And if you follow the plan exactly, you would probably have a couple of smaller losers right here, perhaps one small winner here. Yeah, but you have to take into consideration you have to take into consideration the market structure of the Bitcoin chart. Once it starts ranging right here, you might not want to follow the daily 50 because it's just going to go sideways, right? However, now we're in a very clear trend, and you could have easily been able to get in on at least the breakdown of the range right here, and then you're going to just hold that position open until you reclaim the daily 50. So this is where the idea of using the daily 50 EMA for Bitcoin comes in, right? I really appreciate you, Joel. Thank you. I've been seeing you in the live streams, in a lot of my live streams, and I really do appreciate your comment. Thank you very much. And yeah, I hope to see you in future. Let's see, what's this? Looks like it may go a little bit lower there, since every other bottom is towards the bottom of the green zone. But that's what I'm saying, right? There's some alpha decay, which says that the bottoms are going to be lower and lower and lower and lower until we don't even have the bottoms in the green zone, right? So this might be the last time we can even use these indicators to time the bottom. Anyway, so what is the whole idea? I think you're starting to understand where I'm going with this, right? So what's up, Rolf? Morning. Hope you're doing good. So we have downtrend here, right? So obviously that would be the downtrend, but let's look at the market structure right here. So the market structure would be something like this. I don't know, like, let's just make it simple, right? Something like this. So that's the current market structure we're looking at right now. A possible trend, a possible range forming here, right? and the daily 50 very close to range highs. Now imagine if we start to see something like this, right? Now imagine if we start to see something like this with a break above the range, a retest of range highs, and then a continuation that will look something like this, right? So we get this, the daily 50 EMA might come down something like that, right? And if we do get that, you see, you're now starting to see what I'm getting at here. So what we're looking at right here is a bullish break in market structure, break and retest of the range, and that range is forming inside the midpoint of the reload zone. We get a break and retest, and more importantly, a reclaim of the daily 50 EMA, right? So that's 3 out of 4 of the indicators checking that box saying we are now confirmed. NUPL already confirmed we're in the area of interest. The MVRV Z-Score already confirmed we're in the area of interest. The daily 50 EMA is not yet confirmed because it haven't reclaimed the daily 50 EMA. And to be clear, I want a clear, clean daily candle opening and closing above the daily 50 EMA. So what's the fourth indicator here? Well, I would say that it's not the most important one, but it's the stochastics RSI on the weekly, and we've looked at the 2-week as well. I've back tested quite a lot looking at the 2-week, and it seems that the 2-week actually has the best the best performance here using it as an indicator. And the idea here is very simple. You want the stochastics RSI on the 2-week to be below 30, and on the 1-week you would like to see a bull cross happening like this. And this is actually the first time, like you look at all the you look at all the major tops and the bottoms on Bitcoin, obviously not this bottom right here, but the fact that when you have all of this lining up, you can look at the confluence here with the tops and the bottom using the weekly and the 2-week stochastics is absolutely not perfect. But with these together, it creates and paints a pretty clear picture of what we want to see for a bottom to form on Bitcoin. And we are now ticking all the boxes except the daily 50 EMA. Now, what we don't want happening is we don't want price to start trading, below the daily 50, start ranging, and then stochastics are assigned perhaps a 2-week and or the weekly goes up into this area. We don't want the bottom to be confirmed when the stochastics is around the 70 area, right? But right now, look, it's looking very, very good. And this could probably go on for, I don't know, like a month. It could definitely be trading below here for a month or two. So I really hope that the best possible scenario right now would be for for this to happen. Bitcoin is not going to form a bottom independent of what the current global economics is doing, right? So we need to see perhaps the war in Ukraine kind of slow down, Russia maybe backing off, showing signs of retreat or whatever. And we obviously need to see, the threat of a recession slowing down. We need to see inflation slowing down, and we need to see something like that going on. And honestly, guys, I don't see that happening anytime soon. I do think that the threat of a recession is very, very real. And if it does kind of pop off and go bad, we might see, banks and institution of low GDP countries, not GDP, never mind, smaller economic countries kind of fail. And we've seen rumors of banks in China, like people doing bank runs and stuff like that. And if that's the case, it's going to be very hard for me to think that this will happen, right? So we need to be open to the idea of this whole idea and this whole analysis just getting completely invalidated, right? And that would be terrible. That would be terrible for Bitcoin, right? Not only terrible for me because I've been living off this analysis for kind of like 2 years, because I did actually use the daily 50 and the MVRV Z-Score to get out. You see when it hit that red zone right here, and the NUPL was very close to euphoria. That was when we hit that level right there, when we broke below the daily 50, and that was how I managed to get the most out of this latest bull run right here. Then of course we had that one right there, but this one more a move driven on derivatives. This was more spot driven, retail hype driven market right there. That's why the MVRV Z-Score and the net unrealized profit did not really look the same on this move right here. So I'm basically just trying to do the same thing again, but in reverse. But let's see, what happens if all of this gets invalidated, right? Well, if all of this gets invalidated, and the MVRV Z-Score just continues to drop lower and you starts ranging in here, and well, it would still make sense to use the daily 50, but it's all about at that point if we break below like 14, 15K, we are definitely, and I think that will happen if we see a huge global shift, right? A huge like acceleration of the inflation, and perhaps we enter a major recession. I do think that we're going to be looking at Bitcoin perhaps hitting, 10K, like very, very low, around 10K or even lower. And that would probably, that potential bear market is probably not going to end until a couple of years later, right? So I do hope that the bottom is going to be put in here sometime this year or beginning of next year by using this analysis. That would be quite healthy if you ask me, because we already had major crypto companies and institutions, if you will, go bankrupt. We already had the typical bear market capitulation moves, right? But we might see that last move to the downside, but we should absolutely not go below 15K. If we go below 15K, we break below the reload zone, we start trading around 10K, I think it's going to be a very, very long bear market, I'm afraid, and we don't want that. All right, so this is considered pretty safe trade with good confidence, but would you consider against entering before the break of 50 MA for a quick swing trade? Well, first of all, there's nothing like a quick swing trade. A swing trade would be a couple of days to a week or two, or even swing trade. There's nothing like no such thing as a quick swing trade, right? All swing trades are by definition long trades. No, I mean, no, I would not be entering Bitcoin right now, because just because the MVRV Z-Score and the NUPL and it's weak stochastics and all that is confirming, it doesn't mean we're going to move higher. It just means that now is the time to look for that final confirmation. And before we get that final confirmation, there's nothing that we're not going to be buying Bitcoin here. So no, I don't think. Well, I am buying Bitcoin. I've started accumulating Bitcoin, like very small amounts at this area. Like I think I'm filled on about 10% of my desired position on Ethereum and Bitcoin. So I'm very, very slowly starting to dollar cost average here. Very small amounts, right? But I'm not like I'm absolutely not going in with size or saying that this is the probable bottom. I'm not looking for a trade on Bitcoin. However, and I think I'm done with the whole showing you guys how you can time the high time frame bottom of Bitcoin. So let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about the scenario that we talked about last week and this weekend. I've talked about it on Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Bitcoin Twitter, if you don't follow me on Twitter, go to Twitter, follow me at libs42, where I'm sharing many ideas like this one on a daily basis. And don't forget to like the video. And if you're new and you like these types of live streams where it's more like educational and you're able to ask me questions, subscribe if you like it. I'm tired, I didn't have any coffee today this morning because I forgot to buy some, which is so now I'm drinking caffeine free coffee, which feels weird. My weekly 50 EMA is at 3.6. I have settings wrong. We're not talking about the weekly 50 EMA. We're talking about the daily 50 EMA, right? I have a indicator here which will always show me the daily 50 EMA, whatever time frame I'm on. It's called higher time frame EMA by somebody called Sen in the Art of Trading. So with this one right here, I'm able to check the daily 50 EMA on whatever time frame I'm looking at. So I'm never using the weekly 50 EMA. I only use the 20 and 50 EMA on the 4-hour and daily. Anyway, this was the idea we talked about last week. And I do feel that it's so basically if we get and at this point I would look for so just so you guys know, like this is a scam. This is just straight up a scam. So please, if you ever see somebody comment on mining or offering you certain percentage for mining services or anything like that, that this is 100% a scam. You should never go and sign up to a website that promises you profits by mining Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency. It's 100% a scam. Actually, if somebody offers you something online, it's 99% a scam. And if they say you're going to make money doing it, it's 100% a scam. Never sign up to a website involving crypto if you don't know exactly what that is, because there's a high risk they will steal your money. Or if you deposit money, you're never going to get that back. Like you guys should know this. I just felt like I needed to make it obvious. Let's block that guy. All right. So if we do bonds here inside the support area right now, I would like to see a reclaim of that weekly open as well. And if we do get that, we might be able to see some setups on a couple of altcoins. But really, I'm not seeing much. I mean, I've talked a lot about BAT, how I would have wanted to start buying BAT here, but it's completely invalidated on it, obviously. Like BAT is completely gone here. And I've said that as well, like on all the videos I recorded on BAT and this particular idea right here, I was very clear in mentioning the fact that the probability of this playing out is very, very low, but that does not mean we're supposed to ignore it, right? Because technicals, they kind of align here. So we shouldn't ignore a trade, even though it's low probability. So all of these ideas we looked at, I made a video on Friday kind of showing you that if we had a break and retest of this level, I felt like the probability of moving higher was pretty high, considering the fact that that would give us a bullish break in market structure. Now, we never got that bullish break in market structure, and instead we moved lower because of the fact that Bitcoin used that 22 area as resistance and started moving lower. So right now, there's not a lot interesting going on in the crypto market. Yes, Rune looks somewhat interesting right here, but it also feels like the trend that started here has now been broken and is now invalidated. So we need to be very careful in what we buy here. My enthusiasm and my slightly short-term bullishness last week is completely gone, right? Everything is invalidated. So before I get all the reply guys coming at me saying, I changed my analysis every day and I change my plans and whatever every day, you have to understand that that is what trading is all about. The ability to change your idea of what the market is going to do in a matter of seconds because you see something not playing out, that's actually something you have to master as a trader, because as soon as your ideas or your trade starts getting invalidated, you have to let that idea and let that trade and that plan just go. Just forget about it. Right now, it's time to try to get a more neutral and a more unbiased perspective on the markets, right? That's trading psychology 101, right? A lot of people, they, like, for example, this idea that I talked about with the high time frame bottom and the MVRC score, the on-chains and the TA combination, I really, really like this idea. I really like this idea, and I've been getting a lot of engagement on Twitter using this, right? So a lot of people are following me because of this and how I timed the top and the last bull market. So I kind of, in a way, identified with that analysis. So it's I do understand that for a lot of people it might be hard to kind of let that go. As soon as it gets invalidated, you have to let it go and clear your mind and just forget about it, right? And that's very hard. That's why you see some people, you might have someone really liking basic attention token here. They really, really like this idea, and they've seen this and they've seen me talk about this, and they might say, wow, this is a great trade. I'm gonna buy and I'm gonna sell up here, and there's nothing that can make me sell. And then it gets invalidated, and they're like, what happened? What happened? Because they never um, never thought about the idea of this not working out. They were so they were so they kind of marry their bag. They were so interested in this hitting take profit, they completely forgot the fact that it's most likely going to hit stop loss, right? So it's very important that as soon as your trade ideas and your plans, your analysis gets invalidated, just man up and accept accept defeat, right? Pretty much. So everything's invalidated, nothing's looking very good anymore. So we have to wait for some type of confirmation, and that would be like, if you look at BNB, you want a bounce in here, reclaim off the 50%. That might be interesting, right? But other than that, there's nothing going on right here. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to go through the Forex market, because I do believe that is exactly, we're in the market to make money. I mean, do you want to be right, or do you want to make money, right? That's it. That's it. You get asked yourself, do you want to be right or do you want to make money? I'm in this for the money. I don't really care about being right. It would be nice to be right and make money at the same time, but it's, as traders, we don't really care about being right. It's about, because you can't be like, the funny thing is, like, if you're a trader and you're approaching trading in the right way, in the proper consistent way, you can't be right. You can never be right, because you're not putting up a scenario with rights and wrongs. What you're doing is you have multiple scenarios. So a trader, I would say, is always right, because for me, if I take a trade, I would say I'm going to be buying here because I think the probability of going higher is high, but if it goes lower, I'm going to get stopped out here. So if I get stopped out, obviously, in a way, I'm right, because the trade didn't work out and I got stopped out. So in a sense, I was right. So you, as a trader, you're not supposed to even think in terms of being right or being wrong. You're only supposed to be thinking in terms of probabilities. So when I post a chart or a trade setup on Twitter, I might have people saying, like, if it's hit TP, I might have people saying like, oh, you're awesome at hit TP, you're such a great trader. And it's not about that. It's really not about that. It's just about, I'm taking a trade because I do believe that there's some edge in here, but I don't really care what's going to happen, because every individual trade is a random occurrence. It might hit TP, it might hit stop loss. It's a 50% chance on that particular trade. So if you try to be right, or if you try to, think in terms of right and wrongs in the markets, you're going to have a very, very hard time trading, right? Very, very hard time trading. We don't care if we're right. We have nothing to prove. It's just, we just listen to the market and we do whatever the market wants us to do. All right, so let's go through this list right here. My orange list right here with a couple of interesting Forex pairs. This is from last week, right? Right, so we have USD CHF right here. Looks very interesting, but I would like to see something like this, perhaps. It doesn't look like this would be a trade, though. Maybe if it goes lower, We might even we might see something on the lower time frames as well. So we might want to fib this move right here. So there might be something here, right? We're gonna be watching that. So I'm gonna put in an alert here. Get oil. Wow, look at this. This is very, very interesting. This might be a trade right here. So I'm moving that up to the first list, and the trade here would be based on this fib most likely. If it hits the 50, that's great. If it hits the 618, that's perfect. And it hit almost the 618. So what would be the trade here? Well, it would be the retest. Now let's look at the day, the 1 hour. All right, so that would be entry would be here on the retest of the 20 EMA. So let's put a horizontal ray right here. That would be entry right there. That would be the entry. Stop loss would be here. Depends. So 4 hours going to close in 17 minutes. There's definitely a support area right here. So I'm expecting this support to act as support, come up, fill my orders, and then boom, go lower. Let's look at the daily. It looks like it's potentially broken the market structure here. It's now in a bearish trend. Do we think oil is going to get cheaper? And look at that. That's a beautiful high right there. Confluent with the -618. Is there any? So I gotta think about the fundamental, like if there's any fundamental reasons to go short oil here. Like just in the back of my head, there's nothing that there's nothing that tells me we're going to but I don't care. I don't really care. Right, so the trade would be this. This would be the trade. Entry here, stop loss here. TP1 would probably have to be down here because it's, yeah, that level right there, because it just makes sense. It's a low here. That's also a low. That's a low. That's a low. You know what? I probably have to put TP on that low right there. That would be TP1. And then TP2 would be, so I'm using the fibs as a guiding mechanism to find the best profit target levels, but I'm always gonna prioritize horizontal levels. So I'm actually going to use a slightly different take profit strategy for this trade right here. So I can put one TP here. I'm then going to put another TP here on that one for 25. And then the rest, the last one, it's going to be another 25 here, right there. So let's try to calculate the average exit of this trade right here. So it's 50-50 between these. It's 50-50 and then 50-50 between these. So the average exit would be here. What would a trade be? It's 3.69. That's definitely, man, look at that. That's a 16% move to the downside. That's a major move on oil. I don't think I'm that just feels very wrong. So what if I do this? It feels very weird shorting oil for a 16% move to the downside. I mean, do I think do it like it? I could just, I mean, I could just exit like at the lows for 2.6, or like that seems much better in a sense. I don't know why, but that just seems much better to exit much earlier, or at least take like 25 and 50. So the average exit would be something like 3. Yeah, I think that would be much better. Because there's also the time aspect of holding a swing trade, right? It's going to take way too long to hold this trade open. It's probably going to take, I mean, if this trend continues like this, it's probably going to take, yeah, it's probably going to take like 2 months. Nah, fuck that. No way I'm staying in this for 2 months. All right, so let's do this then. 75. It kind of makes more sense. Or maybe I should could take one. Could take TP1 here, TP2 here. So trade would be, let's try to get a trade that's 3R. With this being TP1, so we could secure the trade quite early. Because if I enter here, right? If I do enter here, and we move lower, I should be able to secure the trade around this level. And I could then put in a second TP on this level right here. And then have a 50% here. So the average exit would then be 2.3. That's not good. That's too low. It's too low. All right, so I'm thinking too much. I'm definitely doing too much analysis on this one right here. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? It kind of, in a way, makes sense. And now I'm adding trend lines like it matters. All right, so I could definitely take some TP at that one. 2.3. Would I be okay with a 2.3 trade? It does look like it wants to at least move below that low. Let's look at the lower time frames here as well. Again, yeah, that's definitely a level. So that should definitely be TP1 right here, okay? If it breaks lower here, so that would be TP2. Let's look at the kind of like the 16 from that high to that low. Closes in 10 minutes. Could definitely still, I mean, there's still time to enter orders and everything. Man, I really do like. All right, fuck it. You know, I'm just gonna. This is what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna put TP1 here. All right. I just have to come up with I'm just thinking too much. So I'm gonna put TP1 here because it looks good. And then I'm gonna put TP2. Almost sneezed. Almost. I'm gonna put TP2 down here. If I can find that wick. Right here. And then I'm gonna put TP like 50%. I'm gonna put it all the way down here. And then I'm gonna use a trailing stop, right? I'm going to be trailing my stop with every swing high in a 4 hour, right? So it would be, I mean, stop loss would be here. I would probably get stopped out of here, but then stop loss here, stop loss here, stop loss here, and then kind of move that stop loss down with every new swing high, and I would just keep this trade open for as long as needed. All right, that would be the trade. So that I'll probably put in orders for this one, depending on what happens here. I'm going to go through the news as well, see what happens in regarding to the news. USD CHF might be a trade here. Euro CAD. I mean, we had that breakdown as anticipated, I guess, but we had that breakdown. We never really had a retest of that breakout area. It went straight down, but this is interesting. Interesting for sure. We want to see a pullback here, and we want to short that pullback for Euro CAD, CAD JPY. What we want to do in CAD JPY here is see if we can get some sort of breakout here, right? And we would then go long and break and retest of this this level right here. That would be the trade, right, on CAD JPY. So I'm putting an alert right here. Euro AUD. Let's go back to USD CHF. We're going to add some alerts here. So we're going to go to the 4-hour 20 EMA. We're going to add an alert on the 4-hour 20 EMA. So USD CHF crossing the 4-hour 20 EMA. We want the same on oil. So oil is going to cross the 4-hour 20 EMA. Euro CAD, I'm putting an alert on here as well when it. All right, that's because on the 4-hour. Yeah, okay. Crossing the 4-hour 20 EMA as well. CAD JPY. Nope. Euro AUD, we want to put an alert here as well. So I want to get alerted as soon as these hits. All right, here's a possible trade. I like this. Let's see. What do we have here? A possible trade setting up right here. Hitting the 50. I like that. Risk to reward is not the best, but we could definitely make something out of this. What is the 1 hour looking like? I like that. We have a possible entry right here on these highs. So this would then be the trade, something like this. TP1 has to be the 0, so it needs to make sense. Average R would be 3. I like this. So here we have a possible trade, depending on where the 4-hour closes in 6 minutes. All right, so let's see if we can find any support levels to the left. There's not a lot going on here. I mean, I'm not going to go back weeks or months. Yeah, this isn't 15. Let's just ignore that. Let's just follow the TP strategy here. Minus 236. All right, so we have the minus 236, no, the minus 618 right here. That's going to be our 50% TP. Then we have the 25% TP right here. All right. So I know it might get a little bit boring, watching this at this point, but that's just what trading is all about. It's trading is supposed to be boring. When you're bored, you're doing something right in trading, and I really mean that. It's trading is really supposed to be boring. I like this one. All right, so putting an alert on the 20 again. I like that. Alert on the 20. All right, GBP USD looking weak. So looking at the daily, has a pretty good break in. Like here's a decent level on a daily, and it kind of looks like it's breaking and retesting that level. You also have the 4-hour 20 EMA. There might be a trade here as well. Let's look at the fibs. Yeah, definitely. It hit the 50, hit the 618 here as well. So in this case, it does look like we have a possible trade right here. It would look something like this. Sounds like my son is coming into the office now, so just give me a second. All right, sorry about that. Apparently a toy broke and he's devastated. All right. So here's the trade on GBP USD, right? We want to see this trend continue to the downside. We want to see that trend continue to downside. It's obviously in a downtrend, right? 4 hour did give us a nice probable top right here, and we might want to see a move up to hit our short entry orders up here. So that's a trade. We're moving that up. We look at NCD USD. This looks more like an obvious range. GBP USD also looks like some sort of range, but the NCD USD one looks like a very obvious range. We're not going to look at that one. USD CAD. Oh, this looks very strong. I like this. USD CAD looks very strong. We're going to be watching the news as well. I like the fact that it... well, I want to say it bounced off the weekly open, but the weekly open happened not many hours ago, so we can't really base the trade on that. But this would be the trade, I guess, something like that. So we're going to put that up as well. USD, US 100. All right, US 100. This is the NASDAQ, I believe. So UK 100 looks like it wants to move lower, but the stochastics RSI here is not really in agreement. I kind of like this trend line right here. That looks good. Let's move that a little bit higher, is to keep notes on that. The right, so we're watching CHF JPY. Get some alerts above here for potential breakout. AUD CAD actually looks quite good for short, but the stochastics is not aligning here. Euro 50, nothing. All right. I'm not going to short this. Not that one either. This could potentially be a short, but it looks more like a range. Silver, gold. All right, so I do think we have some interesting potential trades right here. And those are, at this point, USD CAD, GBP USD, oil, Euro CHF, and potentially UK 100 as well. All right, guys, that's end of the live stream. If I do enter any of these setups here today, I'm going to be posting them on Twitter. So make sure you got me followed on Twitter if you want to get notified whenever I do enter setups like this one. All right, guys, I would like to thank you all for joining today, and see you guys in the next live stream, which will be, let me see, when will the next live stream be? Yeah, so on Wednesday at this time, actually now when I'm ending this one, we're going to have a live stream on Wednesday. All right, guys, take care and see you guys then.